Hey guys, in this video we are going to go over page 15. The title is Solve Multi-Step Inequalities. So go ahead and add it to your table of contents and then I'll give you the little half sheet to tape on page 15. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started with solving inequalities. So previously you solved multi-step equations, including equations that contained grouping symbols. Now you will solve multi-step inequalities using the properties of inequality. Any number that produces a true statement when substituted for the variable in the inequality is a solution to the inequality. So let's look at the example. 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 1/2 times x plus 5. So we're going to go through this one. And anytime we're given a fraction, I like to change it to a decimal. So we're going to change that 1/2 to a 0.5, and then we're going to distribute to the x plus 5. So 0.5 times x is 0.5x, and 0.5 times 5 is 2.5, so plus 2.5. Everything else we bring down. 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to. So now it's just like solving a multi-step equation. Once we use a distributive property, we need to move all of our terms with our variable to the left side of the equation. So we're going to do the opposite and subtract 0.5x. We're going to do that from 3. So 3 minus 0.5 is 2.5, and we're going to keep the x. Bring down our plus 2. That's greater than or equal to 2.5. Now we have to do the opposite of add 2. So we're going to subtract 2 on both sides. Bring down our 2.5x. And that's greater than or equal to 2.5 minus 2 is just 0.5. So my last step, 2.5 times x. We got to do the opposite, which is divide by 2.5. So in the calculator, we'll type 0.5 divided by 2.5, and we get that x is greater than or equal to 0.2. So I know over here it says x is greater than or equal to 1/5. That's the same thing as 0.2. Now, like the notes on page 14, we can graph that inequality. So 0.2 is right about here on my number line, very close to 0. And it's all the numbers that are greater than 0.2. So I'm going to shade to the right, all of the numbers to the right of 0.2. So it looks like that. All the numbers that are bigger than 0.2. X is greater than or equal to 0.2. So a point is closed, which we went over this in the last set of notes. It's a closed circle when we would like to include the point in a solution set. A point is open, so not colored in, when we would not like to include the point. So recall that when we multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, we must reverse the direction of the inequality. So if we're going to divide or multiply by a negative number, I'm going to highlight that. When we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to reverse the direction of the inequality, which means if it's a greater than or equal to symbol, we're going to reverse it and make it a less than or equal to symbol. So let's look at a second example to see what that would look like. So first of all, I'm going to change that 3/4 to a 0.75. So I like decimals better. So I'm going to change it to 0.75. So first of all, I'm going to bring down my negative 4x, and then I'm going to use the distributive property. 0.75 times 4 gives me 3x, Then I'm going to use the distributive property and do 0.75 times negative 12. That gives me negative 9. And then I'm going to bring down my greater than or equal to 3. So now, just like the last example, once we use the distributive property, we'll combine like terms, and then it's just like solving a multi-step equation. So negative 4x plus 3x is negative 1x. We'll bring down our minus 9, greater than or equal to 3. The opposite of minus 9 is add 9 on both sides. So we're left with negative 1x is greater than or equal to 3 plus 9, which is 12. And then here is the part that we talked about up here. When we divide by a negative number, we reverse the direction of the inequality. So since we're dividing by a negative 1, we need to change this inequality symbol. We're going to change it. We're going to flip it. Instead of being greater than or equal to, we're going to flip it and make it less than or equal to. So x is less than or equal to negative 12. So the only difference here is when we're dividing by a negative, we have to reverse the sign. So I'm going to make a little note off to the side. Divide by negative means flip the inequality. Okay, that's why we made it a less than or equal to instead of a greater than or equal to. So if you need a second, go ahead and pause the video and get that last example, and then I'll go ahead and give you the assignment.